gentlemen. Alright, I'm gonna let this. Should I wait? Or should I just start? I'm gonna wait for a minute or two so our algorithm can do its magic. Alright, so I'm gonna get straight to it. So what's up, you guys? So let's go over now Bitcoin and Ethereum. First, I'm gonna start off with covering how Bitcoin reacted on Friday, what I found out on Friday. Well, actually, yeah, Friday after work, I noticed there was, and by that I mean there would be 3 candle boxes strategy and trend lines. Also, what my indicators, whether it be, I think it is, which one? DMI and a MACD, aka Return of the Mac, and DMI, aka DMX. Not joking, but what those indicators are telling me, and the same with Ethereum. Alright, so I'm gonna take my indicator off, and I'm gonna start off in the monthly. Monthly wise, I notice we are in a 3 candle box strategy. You see how perfect that box is? So again, I talked about the strategy in all my videos pretty much, especially my first couple of videos, maybe 5 of them. I end up breaking it down, especially the first 5 videos recently. So anyways, I'm gonna break it down again real quick. The first candle gives you your resistance, especially when you're just imagining this is a blank piece of paper. And these candles are telling you, drawing to you, where is this invisible floor. I call them floors instead of doing the whole resistance support, because the same price as it right here is going to be a resistance or support. If the market is coming from the top to bottom, that price, this floor, this area here is going to act like a support, like a floor would. If that price keeps getting, imagine it's just getting heavier and heavier. Imagine that floor, they're putting tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of pressure in it. And imagine that pressure being money, bags of money, whether it be in gold, silver, but just the pressure of it breaks through that floor, it gives in, and the market drops. When the market goes up again, it hits. Just imagine it's going up again, but instead of going to that same way that it broke, it just hits it again, tries to shoot it up again. Every time it goes that up and down, that in the same fucking floor. Doesn't matter if you went through it one time, but actually, it kind of does matter if, especially because the more, especially let's say the market's coming down, but it doesn't pass through it. The more that price keeps hitting over and over and over, that floor keeps getting hit over and over and over, it eventually gives in and the market breaks through it. Anyways, so the first candle gives you your resistance. Second one gives you support, and you box it up. The third one, depending what candle you're on, since we're in a monthly right now, I know to pay attention to the last two, or you could say a week and a half. You want to see where this is going to be at around. Actually, but yeah, there you go. The Fed's going to talk on the 15th and 16th. That's going to be in the third week. You want to pay attention. Technically, there's 4.5 weeks this month, pretty much. So the Fed's gonna talk these 2 days, I believe. One of these three, most likely these two, and you're either gonna see this baby fly, or depending where we're gonna be at from here to there, because from here to there, we may have bad data. The market could be falling, quote unquote. But then there's gonna be that fucking day, sometime after the Fed said that shit, because either before the Fed, we could be fucking dropping with bad data, and then once the Fed comes, that'll be your buying zone, and you'll be back inside this box, barely in. And then these last 2 weeks are gonna be are we gonna make it back inside and be back in the bullying bullshit, or are we actually gonna reject and fall down at the end of this week, the 25th, 26th? Break on down barely behind this area right here. And this last week, Monday and Tuesday, is gonna be your this day, Tuesday 28th, is gonna be, are we gonna make it in? Because technically, who knows what day that we have this day that will end up breaking on down, being no, we couldn't make it, and the market falls on down and keeps going. So just the fact that we're forming a 3 candle box is perfect to catch. But normally, you wouldn't, like having something like this. You wouldn't really know where to catch it. You would know to catch it even between these two areas here, and depending what patterns you found with the market, or trend lines that was going on during this time. But that's about it. Whereas here, it's perfect. It's clean. Even if it drops, you know where it could be headed to and how, because you can see the candles forming. This candle can only go up and down. This every candle, right? So if you can see how this could play out in this month, this a month, I could see the market having bad news, scaring the market in the last 2 weeks, recover from that, complete this box being green, red, and then green, and the market will shoot, and you'll see Bitcoin either close right here, and again next month is gonna be or either just as long as we're inside this, by the end of this month, it's still bullish for crypto. Especially if we just had a fucking crazy drop with S&P 500 and we recovered and we end up closing inside of here. If it closes like this, if it closes anywhere here, it's still bullish for the market. That's why next week, even if the Fed don't end up raising interest rate this month, there's always gonna be that next month. There's always gonna be that next. So by the end of the, let's say the 15, 17, he says bad news, and you see Bitcoin drop to the 100s, and then towards the end, we get some sort of good data, the Trump something tariff something, and you'll then see Bitcoin in the last week or so end up recovering and getting back to the 110s in this area right here again. And then by then you should also see Ethereum push even higher, crazy numbers, or again back to where it was. Because as I was checking my indicators, it's all sound. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was Ethereum or Bitcoin, but one of those two. In the, which one was it? In the MACD were telling me that it was about to fucking break, and I believe it was Ethereum. And also, they told me this baby right here The DMI is telling me there's a big fucking, everything's telling me there's a big fucking move happening, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is how Bitcoin could play out if we have bad news these first these next 2 fucking weeks. Because first of all, it's gonna be important how we close this week. We're closing this week in a good price. That's if we sustain it, because again, once we get to Saturday evening, so that's when you're gonna see more action. Towards the nighttime, especially towards Saturday night to Sunday morning, you're gonna actually see more movement instead of this bullshitting just sideways shit. I told you guys the market was gonna do some sort of little pull down, like if the market's gonna drop or Ethereum's gonna drop, but it's not gonna be a drop. It's gonna just recover, just stay in that little zone. Saturday night to Sunday morning is gonna we're gonna see more action from both of them, because as the market starts to open again, as the S&P and investors now start paying more attention because they know that the S&P 500 opens for futures and whatnot at 3 o'clock. So the market takes everything that happened over the weekend, and you see, and you can see it how the market took everything, or if anything big happened, on how the S&P opens at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and you'll see. And then that, since that's pretty much the last, from there to 5 o'clock is the last 2 hours for Bitcoin to close. It really then goes to those. It really gets active. And I'll try to catch it to explain to you guys this. So that's why I like catching these 3 candle boxes, because I can see, okay, what, especially if I can see, because I keep track of what happens every week with the data. I could then see, oh, okay, we're down here, but then we have, just like I mentioned this Thursday and Friday, how the markets could play out. The same shit when it comes to the last 2 weeks of Bitcoin. So that's also something to know, to pay attention to. Weekly wise, when I'm holding an important position, as you see right here. So monthly wise, we have a strong floor right here. And me added with an alarm. We're enjoying a brief daily minutes. Alarms will be back sooner. Motherfuck. Okay, so price to pay attention to: 108,000. My bad, stupid. That price right there. And this price right here. Why? Because if we start breaking on down, that's gonna be your first signs that we're gonna start most likely closing on down on Sunday between these two areas, or most likely breaking it, closing down here. And so that's what you would pay attention to for this month. For the day we go down for this week. I can't mark it down. I can put my fucking shit, but it's gonna be too much for you guys. So again, that's why right here we're in a important area. Because think about it. It's 5 p.m. We just closed the day here. This is investors, because you were originally seeing this. That's why the market, all these motherfuckers that know how to read the market. That's why certain prices. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. So since we know that this is our target right here for the week, this is where we want to go at, and this is where we want to stay at, and we close here for the day. Now we go to the week. That was a weekly. Like I said, that was a weekly. So day wise, you see how flat it is right here, and this is the area that I say we don't want to break. You're between your 108 and your 107 area right here. So that's why it's crucial. We want to actually jump and close. We want to close anywhere above this. Anywhere above this. Anywhere above this. Anywhere above this. and I'm not liking how these candles are looking and everything. 12-hour candle, 50 Fibonacci right here. Daily, 50 Fibonacci right here. So this is a strong area to pass. 8-hour candle, 50 Fibonacci. It's right there. It's right on it. So think about it. We close the day here. We close right now. 8-hour candle, 50 Fibonacci. Crazy. Algorithms not no views. 15 minutes, no views. That's crazy. This algorithm shit is weird. So then we have 8-hour candle on a 50 Fibonacci. And the thing that I noticed about Ethereum is that on daily, was it on daily or on the weekly? Was it Ethereum? I thought it was Bitcoin. Okay, let's see. Already happened. And it was this right here. Let's see. Yeah, it was this 12-hour candle, 3 candle box right here. This one right here. First one give you the support. Second one gives you the resistance. You box it up. You wait the 12-hour candle, so you will wait to your and then your last 4-hour candle from 1 to 5, and you pay attention to your 3 o'clock. So see, let me break it down real quick. I can't put no. So right here. $12 candle. Right. And box it up. Oh shit. Box it up. I'm just doing this so I can show you guys real quick. I know it doesn't make sense, but just stick with me. Go to a 4-hour candle, 1-hour candle, 5, 6. So the fact that we close, so this is a 12-hour candle, right? It's a 12-hour candle, and it closed out here at 5. We close here at 5. And then from 5 p.m. Friday, we end up bullshitting here. Right? And then you pay attention to the next 5. The next 5 close above it. So bullish, right? We're still bullish, but you gotta pay attention to the next 4 candles after that. So if by your, especially we're getting close to the next 4 candle, the next 4 candle closes at 5 p.m. 5 a.m. Then it will be your 9. So the fact that at 7 we're coming down to it out here, when you know you should be above this area to stay away from this, completing this 3 candle box. Since it's a down movement, completing this 3 candle box would mean shooting on down could be red, green, red. So the fact that at 7 a.m. it was already getting back inside of it, and my indicator was telling me, even my indicator was telling me, hey, this is your resistance point. So at the fact that at 6 and 7 it hit the resistance and went back down, and my indicator was telling me, hey, you're about to go down, buddy. Here's your stop loss. Here's your entry. And that's why I say this will be an important area to pay attention, because that was your core, and this was telling you here. The fact that it completed and it hit the first target, here's the second one, and so on. So the fact that Bitcoin dropped from that, if we maintain how we are, and if by tonight from 9 to from 9 to 3 in the morning, if we don't are back in this area right here, we're gonna continue going on down. Let me take this crap off. Let me go to Ethereum. And you see how Ethereum is still holding? So again, by 9 or 5 in the morning, we need to easily, by 9, especially by 9 or 1 easily, we need to be in here. If by, let's say, 10 the latest or 11, we're not here, we're still in this area, by then most likely by 9, if we're not even up here when I say, we're gonna be down here, and you're gonna see Bitcoin start following and going down slowly. So now that I said that, with Ethereum and Bitcoin, let me show you what my indicators are showing me right now. First, I'm gonna go to DMI. I'm gonna start off with the monthly. So the way this works is this red line is the volume. This blue line means the market is going up. This red line is the down movement, up movement. And the way it works is whatever is above this white line, it's what's happening at the moment. So at the moment, we've been on an uptrend monthly wise, but we are getting weak right now. You see right here going on down. Then you go to the weekly, and you see on the weekly, we've been in a down movement. Daily wise, you see this right here? This is big. This is telling me that there's a big move happening. Pretty much, look at it as the market just, you see how Bitcoin or Ethereum is just flat? You would think you would see something like this. And this is what you should see when the market is just flat. You should see the up and down movement just crossing each other, not really doing anything. But the fact that you have the volume, the up and down shrinking, not just that, below or at that, when that happens, you get these type of movements right here. You see how all of a sudden it just explodes? You see how volume just picks up? Those are the moves that you start seeing, and that happened. Another one over here, but especially these type ones. You see how the market explodes and it starts tinying up. That's why this is very, 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 very important to pay attention to. And then now that you see what events we have going on this week, but especially this week, we got CPI I think on Thursday. But besides that, and notice how it's a day before Friday, and the point of how we close this next Friday is very important, because that'll tell you what the goal is gonna be at, or what the obstacles are gonna be at. And now that the Fed's gonna talk, okay, now that he's about to talk, this is gonna be my goal if it's good and bad type of shit. Here's this resistance, here's the support, because we just did. So anyways, that's very important. 12-hour candle, and this is what I'm talking about. You should see this since we haven't been just going sideways. This is what you see: the down and up movement just mimicking each other in a way, and then volume not even doing nothing. Like this, see? Yeah, that's what you should see. And volume not doing crap, because it's just doing this right here. There's no volume. Volume picking up for the down movement, of course, as we've seen the 4-hour candle. Alright, so that was one thing, that 12-hour candle, this right here, no, daily actually, on daily. That's why I marked it with this orange line. Another one I saw is on an 8-hour candle. You see it right here. How the market just, you see this big move on up, strong. Alpha is falling, it starts falling down and tinying up. And you see another movement, my bad. You see another big movement up. Big volume on up. All right, so that's why catching those is very important, or noticing those is very important before the move actually happens. Now for this one right here, this is the MACD, the MAC. MAC wise, the way this works is when this blue line goes above the orange line, it's telling you the up movement coming. When it goes below it, it's telling you the market is gonna start going on down. So right now, Ethereum monthly wise, yeah, we've been going up. That's no surprise. And it's something that so right here, look, you read these like if you would read the candles. There's a down movement happening, downtrend that was happening, and the market came across a trend line recently. If you notice Ethereum, these last fucking pretty much 2 months or a month or so, Ethereum has been pushing on up, so it makes sense of where it's getting. It's getting ready, and if you see the numbers, it's in the high 4,000, 5,000 range, right? Or it was, or still is, or it was there. So the fact we're in those numbers, the fact that in the DMI we're reaching all that time high trend line, and what I mean by this, I mean this right here, this weekly trend line that is crossing, that it just barely crossed right here in this area, and then you see where Ethereum's are at. So you kind of get a picture of it. Okay, like that's what it's telling me. And also on the monthly wise, we've been at the downtrend, and that's what the purple line was for. And if you see it crosses here, and also it crosses with it right here, so it all aligns, and it's telling you that Ethereum's getting ready to either blow up with these interest rate cuts, or it's gonna be a not this time, not this time. It's gonna be a retracement on down. That's what this is telling me right here. That I wanted to show you guys. But DMI, I mean, but look, when you go to the daily, I don't like this. I don't like this. 12-hour candle, 8-hour candle. That's what I don't like it. But it's definitely waiting for the interest rate cuts. But any data coming out next week, like the CPI, is what's really gonna move this market. Also, of course, how we open today. But that's why Ethereum doesn't want to break. This is 1 hour candle. You see how we're barely hanging on this support? Right there. You see how that support crossed all around? We broke it right here. We come up and we tested it again. Hold it and shoot it up. And we're now holding that support. So that's why that's important. Let me go to the weekly. And let me show you the DMI MACD for Bitcoin. Look, this is interesting for Bitcoin, something that I noticed. It said when you go on Bitcoin's DMI, it has this nice, perfect trend happening right here. Let me take this shit off. So right here, Bitcoin was having this perfect down moment on DMI. And these moves, you normally see them in the candles, whereas the market will shoot up, it'll create support, and it'll just do this. And this will be a support. It's either, and once it gets either to these breaking points, this is where traders normally go for a breakout and they go for a buy, or if not, they retrace and they go for a sell. The fact that we're getting to that crucial point of this breaking through, it's fucking odd to me, weird. I was like, so, and we recently, if you notice, Bitcoin recently had that big boom, but we hit 120 something, I think, or whatnot, and then we came back down, and then we're in those fucking in that range. In the, it's either gonna end up making that move, that confirmation, because you see volume picking up right here. This is the volume, the strength of it, but it's neutral. Look how the down movement and the up movement are so neutral, but there's still that volume there. So that interest rate decision today, it's either gonna confirm it and do the breakout, or it's gonna do pull it back down and again keep it in the when it's gonna be the next move. And the fact that it's that's very interesting about this. Um, weekly wise, nothing. Daily, nothing. 12-hour candle. The volume is going down. There's no, again, just like Ethereum, it's not doing nothing, it's just going sideways. See, same shit. Volume going down. Both of them, it's not really going up or down, it's just staying neutral. I see volume pick it low. So anyway, that's all I want to point out. And the DMI, monthly bullish, but then once you start going to the weekly, this is what I don't like. The fact that we're creating a head and shoulders in this area on a weekly, I don't like that. Especially with the Fed coming, it's either gonna confirm, because this should be if there was really to give me confirmation that holy shit, we're about to going up with this next move, this snap will be if Bitcoin will be up here. Then I'll be more bullish. But the fact that we created a head and shoulders in the region, even though it's not the candles, this also is telling you, this also read it as a candle. But look at this on the daily. That's what caught my eye. Is that you got volume picking up, but it's at the neutral point, and it makes sense when you look at the actual Bitcoin structure, where it's not gonna end up breaking on down with the interest rate decision, and you gotta see this going down, or again, that's what this tells me right here, especially for the daily, and especially we got CPI coming up this week, or any sort of news that's gonna affect it, especially if again the Nasdaq brings them up again, especially if after the whole Nasdaq incident. That's what also made Bitcoin going down. Even 12-hour candle is getting ready to, again, it's getting ready to cross on down like this, or it's gonna pinch. It's getting ready. That's what that's telling you. Near the United States and near Mexico. We're near the border right here, green and red. So that's why it's important too on the 8-hour candle. Besides that, you guys, well, then I might need to re-raise this because I'm Mexican. So, but yeah, this is what crypto's telling me right now, you guys.